Like I was reading a news article yesterday about this pastor that he's like a super well-known pastor, and all this stuff came out last year, and he's like back preaching again, and like the thing he's preaching is like how to leave a legacy that outlives you or whatever. Like just not even making it about the Lord, but I mean it's
Who
just
even cares? That's the big message right now. That's like the main message in a lot of places now. What? Yeah, Jesus left a legacy, his life. We don't have to focus on leaving a legacy. If we preach the gospel, if we are true to him and his word, and we can help anybody really and truly begin to live in fear of the Lord and humility. Who leaves a legacy? Christ leaves a legacy. Christ is a legacy. Christ is life. Christ is life. I I don't know. That's just, yeah, what
that
you're saying.
pursuit, like leaving a legacy. That's like self-importance on steroids. That's like
Yes.
not only am I so important now, but I've got to make sure I'm important when I'm dead too. I've got to make sure they remember. It's like, how do I make sure they know?
What? Yeah. Yeah, the word of the Lord is the legacy. That's right. Flesh is like grass. The word of the Lord remains forever. Will you say that again?
That a legacy is like self-importance on steroids.
Yes.
It's so true. Oh.
Because you're saying, I want to be important now. And people, I've actually, listen, I don't listen to any of those messages, but I've seen at least one clip that was like, what does it matter if people don't remember you when you're, I've even heard that from Scone. And I just, there's some things that come from there about greatness and stuff like that. Like, but we saw him walk in humility. So some of that is probably language. And the Lord did make whoever, Job, great in the land, whatever in the land. But, and so I'm not saying that everybody preaches a legacy message. Probably we could hear a legacy message and be like, yes, 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 because they might actually be saying the word of the Lord is the legacy. Does that make sense? I don't know enough about what they're teaching with all the messages to say it's just wrong. They may be actually just reading the scripture and it be exactly on point. Does that make sense? But I do know I have heard at least a clip or two of like, you want your life, you want what you're about to be remembered after you're gone. Well,
I was just gonna say, like,
you and then you.
Hebrews 11 could be something that you could talk about leaving a legacy. It
Right.
wasn't about
Their
them,
faith,
it's about
right.
their faith, but all these people are remembered
Right.
because of their great faith.
Yes, and they were wonderful men and women of God, and we do remember that's true. But I just think that what you're saying is he should be the point in thinking of legacy and not us. The message of Christ and not the message we taught about Christ. It's awesome if people remember you for Christ. You want that, but that can't be your motivation. I pray. I would hope that people, if they remember me, they knew that I made them think of Christ. But Smith Wigglesworth, toward the end of his life, was concerned that he could have been more invisible in a way. I don't know if he used those words, but that people saw too much him. And he could have somehow pointed to Christ more with his life. And so the days that we're trying to make it about our life, I think we really waste a lot of breath. If I'm sitting here thinking, how can I make sure people remember me and my message of Christ? It's just so slightly off.
And that's still
How can I be a part of, like, live stream? I want this to stay, if the Lord wills, and maybe a website or however, who knows what happens with YouTube or whatever, but I am wanting to preserve the legacy of Christ. But my motive in it is not that people remember me and my message of Christ. Does that make sense?